My name is Margaret Wool. I'm a clinical social worker. I work at NorthMain Radiation Oncology, and I've been there for many years working with people dealing with cancer and with their family members.
I'm Lynn Regan. I also work at NorthMain Radiation Oncology, and Margaret and I work together to help the patient as a whole being, medically, emotionally, socially, and to get them on track to get ready for some treatment and some cures.
And life after treatment.
And life
Which is
after
always a
treatment,
nice
which
thing.
is great.
So we prepared some thoughts to share about gratitude, which is a hugely important feature in how we feel and coping and living our lives. And so we want to talk about some of the benefits. We're going to go through some talking points, but mainly just have a conversation. And there are benefits that are demonstrated by science, but there are also dimensions that are more spiritual and emotional. And so we thought we'd go back and forth with some of those. And do you want to start with emotional state and those things?
Sure. One of the things that we feel is very important as you move through cancer care and life lessons is the proactive sort of way you capture gratitude. Gratitude can be many things to many people, and you can use gratitude after something very large happens to you, something very positive happens to you, you're very grateful for that. But we also believe it's part of a proactive science, if you will. It's a way to sit down and say, how will I navigate today? What course will I take myself on? What will I expect to have happen? And perhaps even one step further, how will I actually have some great things come to fruition? One of the things we'll discuss today is the gratitude journal, because the gratitude journal for us is a way for you to document and go back and look at some of the things that matter to you, large, small.
And you can also use those to build gratitude going forward.
Absolutely.
At times when you're low, it's really helpful to remind yourself it's not always going to be this way.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I use a gratitude journal myself. Dr. Wool and I discuss this sometimes because it can be a series of small things that you write in your gratitude journal or some larger things that you write in your gratitude journal. And what we want to talk about is what gratitude means to you and what gratitude will do for you throughout your journey in life.
Mm-hmm. In a simple sense, I can go through some of the physical changes and mental benefits that come from a state of gratitude. People who practice gratitude, and we're going to talk about how you practice it, find that they have better sleep, less insomnia, they have lower heart rates, they're calmer, less anxiety and depression, and they find that people who practice gratitude release a hormone called oxytocin, and that's a hormone associated with bonding. That's what happens when a mother gives birth. There's oxytocin and bonding with the baby. It also happens when you pat a dog and your blood pressure goes down, and there's oxytocin in that. So there are things that we can cultivate that produce positive changes in our bodies. And then there are many emotional changes that come with that, like motivation and a sense of empowerment that you can actually make things better even in a bad situation. And I think it raises the question of what is gratitude? I think there are a lot of ways to think about it. I don't know if how you think about it.
Being grateful is something that for me can be in the moment. You can be grateful for this piece. You can be grateful for now. You can be grateful for this time, this minute. You can be grateful for something that just occurred. I'm very grateful that I got that, or I'm very grateful that this happened to me. You can be grateful what you know is to come. It doesn't really have a time stamp on it. But what we have come to find out is that being grateful is also a way to chart your course. And in doing things to create a positive awareness for yourself, especially when you're moving through disease and issues like such, gratitude can bring the level, as Margaret said, can heighten the levels of how you feel, how you think, how you act, and chart a better course for you for the day.
It's talked about as a state, like someone gives you a gift and you're grateful. Also, sometimes people think of it as a personality trait, that some people go through life more optimistic and positive than others. And it's also, some people see it as transient. Sometimes you're grateful, sometimes you're not. But what was new to me in beginning to delve into this is that you can create it for yourself, independent of what anyone else is doing. And in the years of working with people going through cancer, what struck me consistently is that it's less about the disease that the person has, and it's more about the person that has the disease, and the attitude they bring and the support that they're able to generate in their lives. And that makes the biggest difference in how they look at their life now and imagine the future going forward. I think it's really a powerful thing. So part of what we want to talk about is how can you cultivate it?
Right. You can, of course, mention to your friends how grateful you are, and that also allows them to feel grateful that you're grateful. You can actually have a domino effect. But one of the things that I've learned over the course of the years, and I have found to be completely, without a doubt, a positive, successful way to chart a course of a day, is to start a gratitude journal. The gratitude journal, for me, is a way to take a moment and to just pen down some of the things that are meaningful and purposeful for me. For instance, I guess I can go right into that, is during a really rainy season this year, no sunshine, weekends off only, and not a lick of sunshine for quite some time, I decided I was going to do a gratitude entrance about the rain. What is the rain giving us, and why am I grateful for it? And so I sat down and I wrote 3 minutes only, and I came up with about 11 different things I was grateful for the rain. I wanted sun, didn't happen that weekend, but I was grateful for the rain. For the first time in a long time, a river, a little stream behind my house came alive, and there were tadpoles in it. My flowers are growing fiercely. My backyard looks like Costa Rica. It's lush, it's green, it's full. But it was a way for me to take a breath and recognize that at a time when I might have said, I can't believe this is happening to me again, why is this occurring? I sat down for 3 minutes and came up with a list of things that mattered, that made a difference, that made me feel positive. And it really did chart my course for the day in a very positive fashion. It didn't matter that I didn't have sun that day. We had rain, and the rain was good.
Yeah, yeah. And we've compared notes. I don't keep a journal, although I will admit, I worked on creating this journal for the Gloria Gemma Foundation, and it was a wonderful experience immersing myself in looking for information about gratitude and inspirational ideas, and it catches you, and it has a kind of contagion, I think, that's a good thing to hold on to. You don't have to wait for it. One of the things I think is important to emphasize is that when we talk about gratitude, it isn't in the sense that your state of mind will alter the course of your illness. I know that it's common. Many people have said to me, I know I have to have a positive attitude if I'm going to beat this. And I take reassurance in the fact that the course of your illness doesn't hinge on the way you feel, because a positive attitude under stress, this sort of white knuckles, I feel it's going to be okay, is stressful. It's less stressful to authentically say, I'm afraid, and find things that you can be grateful for even when you're afraid, like Lynn came to the doctor with me, or that the nurses are kind. Whatever it is, there are things you can look to get through it. But bear in mind, there's no scientific evidence to support the notion that having a positive outlook will change the course or development of cancer. So I think that's really important to put out there. Having said that, having a positive attitude is a much better way to go through it. And living your life with an attitude that's positive is just enhances the quality altogether.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. One of the things that I love so much about this journal that Dr. Wool put together is that it has an uplifting theme or thread through it. There's pictures in it, there's sayings, there's some lyrics from some songs, I believe, some wonderful words from people who've come before us, some thoughts that challenge us to think. There's some aha moments in this journal. It's robust, it's full, it's beautiful, and it allows you one of the many different ways to give the gratitude you have to something else or on paper. We've also come across some wonderful gratitude apps that are out there. We invite people to take a moment and think about, when they're scrolling through social media, what matters most to them in terms of being grateful. And sometimes people tend to go to the other direction. They look at what celebrities are wearing or how much somebody else has. And if they took that time to download an app that gives them a sense of gratefulness instead of scrolling at all the things they don't have or we aren't successful at or hasn't come our way yet. This is another very purposeful way to feel gracious in gratitude. And we have several apps that we found that we would recommend.
Yeah, some are called gratitude, and they give you prompts and remind you through the day to work on that. There are a variety of them. If you look in your app store on your phone, there are blogs about gratitude, so there are many resources for it. I will also say that the Gemma Foundation has beautiful Facebook and Instagram sites with similarly inspirational language and images, and so it's a lovely place to take a break and look at some positive things. But I distracted myself. I was saying I don't keep a journal, but what I do is practice mindfulness, and I often find that I use quiet time being in nature or just taking a moment to calm down and restore a sense of comfort, wholeness, well-being that serves me well through the day. And my hope for the journal is that people can use it in a variety of ways, that they might record in it, they might draw pictures in it, they might just read it because they like it, or paste other things they find and add to the collection. So I think there are different ways to use it, and there's no one way because we all approach these things so differently.
Right.
So
Some folks will take their gratitude journal to the kitchen table and leave it there, and that's the place where they actually document. I tend to document in various places throughout the course of the day, and I take it with me. I'm reminded some days that what I was grateful for in the morning was a small, really hot cup of coffee that someone gave to me, and that it lifts my spirits. You could be having a day that's not fulfilled, and you look back through your gratitude journal and you recognize yesterday was a really fulfilling day for me, and I was very fortunate. In the ups and downs of life, there's some great highs and great lows. Margaret has also mentioned before that you can actually take a moment and pull up one of the apps and have some gratitude in your car for 3 minutes. Just get out your phone.
Yes, no, I was telling Lynn about this because I've recommended various guided mindfulness websites or apps to people, and some people come back and say, I tried that and it calms me right down, I feel so much better, and other people come and say, I didn't have time this week. And you could do 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. So my suggestion was, when you get home from work and you're in your car, don't get out of the car for another 3 minutes. Put it on, not while you're driving, and do an exercise, and it makes you feel better, so that can work. What I thought we were going to end with also is talking about ways that, well, you've talked about gratitude, and we can also talk about ways to express it, but I wanted to tell a little story that pertains to the fact that we don't have to wait for gratitude to come, and we also don't have to take a sort of saccharine view of the world and try to tell ourselves that everything is happy. And here's a story that gives an example of how we don't have to do that. And it's a story of a farmer and his horse, and he's telling people about some events that took place in his life, and he said that the horse ran away, and all of his friends say, oh, that's bad. And he said, no, it's good, because then the horse came back, and it was accompanied by other wild horses, so now we had more horses. And they said, that's great. And he said, well, no, actually it's bad, because my son was riding one of them to try to tame it, and he got thrown and he broke his leg. And they said, oh, that's terrible. And he said, no, actually it's good, because then the people from the military who were visiting homes to try to recruit young men to fight in the army left him behind because he wasn't fit to fight. So the real message is, any one experience is neither all bad or all good. But you can see, if you choose that this is terrible, then you're not going to have your mind open to what else you could see in the picture. Similarly, if it's all good, you may not prepare yourself for any other consequences. So being open, not labeling things too narrowly, and knowing that you can deal with it, that it'll give you buoyancy if you are able to cultivate more positive outlook. So,
What's one thing you're grateful for today?
today I'm glad to have a chance to do this. I'm glad to have a chance to share these ideas with people who may watch it and benefit from it, because I have this sort of drive in my work to help people, and this is a broader opportunity to do that, and I do appreciate it. Yeah.
My gratefulness comes from the fact that NorthMain Radiation Oncology and the Gloria Gemma programs can collaborate, coordinate, and link arms in the community. As we put together this gratitude journal and came up with what we wanted to say and do, we recognized that that partnership is strong and real and vibrant and comprehensive in terms of helping people get through a very tough time in their lives. The second thing I'm grateful for is really comfortable shoes today, because I didn't wear them yesterday, and that was a really important thing for me today. So it can be really large, it can be quite small.
Or like GPS that I didn't get last time I went.
That too.
Feeling gratitude is a great thing, and expressing it is also a great thing. There are a variety of ways to do that. And one line that I read is that feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a gift and not giving it to someone. So in addition to thanking people and expressing gratitude and writing notes and things like that, there are also examples that show how it spreads when you share it. It's one of those things that the more you give away, the more you have. That the stories of someone at a toll booth, when we had toll takers, would give M&Ms. They'd accept the money and give M&Ms to the drivers, and that it just spread some kind of happiness. The other example I've heard is people who pay it backward. They buy their coffee and they say, I want to pay for whoever did the drive-through order behind me. And then that person comes up and is told, you've already been paid for. And they go, oh, well, I'll pay for the person behind me. And it's so much nicer than other behaviors that we also encounter, like aggressive driving, which makes people irritable, right? So I've practiced letting people pass me because I don't get all stressed. So those are some of the ways that we can express it. And I guess maybe we should leave it to viewers to find their ways to express it and feel it.
Yes.
And make the most of it.
And we hope that people who use this journal that we're sharing, they get a great sense of pride to know that they're taking the time to live in the moment and recognize the things that matter. It's hard to do in a very busy life. Be proud of the moments that you're able to take for yourself. Self-care is a very, very important piece.
There's a final note that we wanted to leave you with in this discussion about gratitude. I have a quote from a gentleman named Meister Eckhart, and it doesn't mention the word gratitude at all, but I think it's very relevant. And he says, the most important time is this present hour. The most important person is the one sitting across from you at this moment. And the most important work that we have, the most necessary work, is love. And those are the key important elements in bringing those to your life and enhancing yours as well as others. Thank you.
And we just hope you journey through the journal and really enjoy all of the visuals that we'll give you and the opportunities to chart your course.